Welcome to the Essential Self-Care Podcast, where we talk about all things self-care for those of us who are, let's face it, too busy for self-care. It's time to bring that same compassion that you offer to everyone else in your life to yourself as well. In this podcast, you'll hear real-life stories of how self-care transformed people's lives as they were going through life's storms. You'll learn practical, actionable tools to begin the self-care journey yourself as well. Because like I always say, small changes make a large impact. I'm your host, Dr. Sheetal Ajmani. I'm a physician, best-selling author, and the founder of Radiant Living Institute, where I guide strong, successful women to get unstuck and learn to live radiantly again through major life transitions. Through my signature program, Reclaim Your Radiance, you'll reclaim your worth, renew your energy, and restore your happiness in your life, career, and relationships. To get started, download your free guidebook, 6 simple yet powerful steps to create your radiant life at radiantlivinginstitute.com. Quick disclaimer before we get started, the information in this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Always seek the advice of your own medical practitioner and or mental health provider about your specific situation. Now, let's get started. Have you ever noticed that it's never just one thing that goes wrong? Usually, I've found, at least in my own life and the lives of many of my clients, that multiple challenges always seem to come all at once. You know what I'm talking about? Those moments when the world as you know it seems to come crashing down. The divorce, the career change, the move, they all seem to happen at the same time. These moments of crisis, these moments that just knock you to your knees, they suck. They're hard. They're full of grief and loss and anger and sadness. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I wish that I could say that there was a way around all of that, but the thing is, there really isn't. Allowing yourself to go through it, allowing yourself to feel all those things that you need to feel is part of the process of healing and growing, of rediscovering and realigning with parts of yourself. It's not easy. But these moments of crisis also tell you that you are ready to pivot in some way. Perhaps you've outgrown where you are. Perhaps there's something else now for you to learn, live, and experience. But you would never know that. You would never move or make those changes in your life if it was always comfortable and easy, right? When things are going smoothly, why would you change anything? It's when that contrast, as Abraham Hicks describes it, arises in your life, that contrast being anything that causes discord that doesn't feel right. Those uncomfortable emotions are not something to ignore, numb out, or shove down. Actually, they're coming up for a reason. They are your inner voice trying to guide you to alignment. And honestly, the more you try to numb it out, shove it down, or ignore it, the louder those messages and signals get, right? Have you ever noticed that too? It might come through your physical body as manifestations of pain, illness, anxiety, or insomnia. Or it could come through your interactions with other people, like a series of conflicts or confrontational events. And so it's important to look at these events, and one of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself is, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this experience, from this situation, from this interaction? What can I learn from this? Automatically, in that moment that you decide to ask yourself this question, what can I learn from this? You shift from battling against the difficult circumstances to aligning with it, to working with that circumstance or situation, realizing that this challenge is actually divine guidance leading you, guiding you to something different in your life. And when you realize that, then the way you approach any and every difficulty in your life completely changes. You open yourself up to a world of possibilities that you would have never explored or experienced had you not been faced with this challenge. You know, the word crisis means to sift. And I'm going to quote Glennon Doyle here from her book Love Warrior, where she says, "Since crisis means to sift, a crisis is the perfect time to let the extra fall away, so only the important will remain." Oh, I love that so much. I'm going to say that again. Since crisis means to sift, a crisis is the perfect time to let the extra fall away, so only the important will remain. One thing I can say for sure from the many times that I have had those knock you to your knees, the world seems to be falling apart moments, and I have had many, let me tell you. But in those moments, you are at a place where you are so raw that a couple things begin to happen. One, you open yourself up in ways that maybe you never have before. That rawness of human experience comes through you. When you're heartbroken or facing extreme grief, it opens up depths of your heart like nothing else can. Rumi says, "The wound is the place that light enters you." The wound is the place that light enters you. It's in those cracks, in that quote unquote brokenness, that you actually find yourself again. It may not feel like it in the moment. I know that. So a part of the process is, if any of this resonates with you, then trusting the process, trusting that this process and this journey that you're on right now, however hard it is serving a higher purpose. And allow yourself to be open to that and connect to that. The other thing that happens when you're in this place of crisis, of feeling raw and open, is that all of a sudden it becomes really clear what is most important to you. Because you literally don't have the bandwidth to focus on anything else, right? The gossip, the extra drama, all that stuff, you just literally don't even have the time or energy for it. So what I've noticed in my own experience is that in those moments of crisis, one of the most important things you can do is simplify, simplify, simplify. Let go of anything that isn't absolutely necessary or isn't serving you. And I mean this in the most practical sense. Trim down your schedule and your daily routines to the absolute necessities. And you might be saying, but all of it is necessary. Here's the thing, our egos have a way of making everything seems super important. But honestly, in the grand scheme of things, what do you really need? What do you really need today? You need to breathe, you need to eat, you need to sleep, right? That dinner party that you said yes to, is that actually a necessity? In some ways it might be, because as humans, we're hardwired for social connection, and certainly community is an important part of healing. So it might be. But if you haven't been sleeping well lately, then maybe getting to bed early is more of a necessity right now than that dinner party. And really only you can gauge these decisions. So I would suggest start by tuning into your needs, what emotions and physical sensations come up in your body, and use those signals to help you make these decisions. So what I really want you to take away from today's episode is that crisis can actually be a catalyst, if you let it, for allowing and opening up to divine guidance, for rediscovering and reconnecting with yourself, and for finding greater alignment between your external world and your inner true nature. And for today's take action point or activity, I invite you to think about in which ways you can begin to simplify your daily routines and activities this week. So that might be through saying no to attending an event this week. It might be deciding to turn off your ringer at 9 p.m. so that you're not taking calls late at night and you can get a good night's sleep. What is one way, just one action you can take this week to simplify your daily routines and daily life? As always, I love hearing from you. So visit radiantlivinginstitute.com and use the contact form there to let me know what action you're taking to simplify your life this week. I read and reply to every message myself, and I really want to hear from you and support you on this journey. So I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a positive review, and share this episode with someone you know. And remember, your free guide, 6 simple yet powerful steps to create your radiant life, is waiting for you at radiantlivinginstitute.com. Download it today.